Paulo E. Anderson is a cryptozoologist, whose specialty is studying the rake. The rake, a hairless albino cryptid known for its sharp teeth, huge rake-like hands, and incredibly long claws. It is also known for its extremely aggressive behavior towards humans, and has been documented as entering homes and bedrooms to kill. Anderson's research is controversial, as he claims the rake is actually a subterranean dweller whose natural habitat is caves and fissures beneath the earth. But, as noted above, it can enter human abodes, homes, and buildings to carry out its depredations. Anderson recently investigated the case of a young woman who disappeared after an apparent encounter with the rake. An email from Anderson states the following: The young woman, an artist, was living in an isolated farmhouse, ostensibly to paint landscapes, and had an encounter with the rake, which emerged from its underground dwelling space through an abandoned well. The rake apparently gained access to the farmhouse, where it fascinated the artist, who painted several pictures of it, including one which showed the rake sitting on the end of her bed. After the young woman disappeared, I moved into the farmhouse and searched the surrounding countryside in an attempt to find her or her cadaver. Exploring an abandoned well, I found one of the artist's bedroom slippers. But before I was able to continue my investigations, I was attacked by the rake, acting in an uber-aggressive manner. I managed to drive away from the property with the rake in hot pursuit, and was fortunate it did not follow me home or begin watching my premises at night. I had given the young woman up for dead, so you can imagine my shock when I received a phone call from her. "I understand. You've been looking for me, Professor," she said in a strained, high-pitched voice which sounded on the edge of hysteria. "I'm glad to hear you're okay," I said. "Where are you?" She told me she had returned to the city, and we made arrangements to meet at a downtown coffee shop at 11 that night. She told me not to tell her mother she had contacted me. Of course, I perceived the whole arrangement as strange and unnecessarily mysterious. I am a scientist, and whilst I'm open-minded, I prefer facts to dramatics. The coffee shop was not crowded. The young woman, who I had never met, affected a goth look. Black clothes and a black hat, complete with a veil. She looked like a creature of the night. She came to me as I entered, murmured, "Come with me," and we left the shop. I didn't even have time for a quick coffee. She then led me on a zigzag route through the downtown, making generous use of alleys. After 20 minutes of these eccentric meanderings, she led me down a ramp into the parking garage of a large apartment complex. I assumed she lived in the building, so you can imagine my surprise when she walked to an obscure corner of the lot and proceeded to unlock a battered metal door. "Where are we going?" I inquired, to which she replied, "This is where I live." Beyond the door was a huge dark space with concrete walls, poorly lit by a series of overhead fluorescent light fixtures. Against one concrete wall was a camp bed, while the rest of the room was filled with canvases large and small. All of the canvases shared the same subject: the rake, the hairless albino cryptid known for its murderous claws and murderous attitude. There is something I don't understand, I admitted, and if I had continued, I planned to tell her of my amazement at her ability to get the rake to sit for portraits. But I didn't continue. I didn't continue. Instead, I reeled back in shock. The young woman had removed her veil, and she was changed. This was my first meeting with the young artist, but I had seen her photograph, and the woman before me was radically different in appearance. I had expected to see a young lady with a full, pleasant face, blonde hair, and glasses. But the face of the person before me was thin, pale, anemic, the mouth a slash, the head shaved, making her look bald. But the eyes were what commanded my attention. They were huge, red, and glowing. And, for the first time, I noticed her fingernails. They were long, blood red, and incredibly sharp. I sputtered, unable to process what I was seeing, but eventually I managed to croak, "You're an albino?" "I'm not an albino," she said in her high-pitched voice. "I am becoming one with it, with the rake." I had come to understand that the rake, like a cobra hypnotizing a bird, had the ability to fascinate potential victims. They had been known to enter bedrooms, to sit at the end of a bed, and stare voyeuristically at sleeping persons. But the idea that one could become a rake, that one could take on their characteristics and discard one's humanity, that had never entered my mind. That would make the rake less of a cryptid and more of a human. I hear it calling in my head, calling in my head, calling to me, all the time calling me. Since I have known it, come to commune with it, there is no going back, no going back. And I'm not coming back. I'm not coming back. I was instructed to continue to tell her mother the fiction that she was dead, while the artwork she left to me. "And now I think you should leave," she said abruptly. "For your own safety. Now you must leave. Must!" No doubt the rake was coming. I walked back the way I had come, and the whole time I was sure something was following me. I could hear faint scratching noises, like the sound of claws on concrete, and I caught the occasional glimpse of something fish-white moving in the shadows at the limit of my vision. I forced myself not to run, but made my way as quickly as possible to the more well-lit streets. And that is how the situation stands at present, and I find myself astonished. As I said, I was well aware of the rake's hypnotic abilities, but the idea it could charm a victim and actually transform them from human to creature. For what are the voices in the young woman's head but psychic commands emanating from the rake? This is nothing I had ever contemplated. But I have no other theory to account for what I saw in the young woman's underground abode. But I've realized I have to go back. I must go back. Warren here. So Anderson thinks that the rake has the ability to transform the young artist into a fellow cryptid through hypnotic or paranormal suggestion. Hypnotic or paranormal suggestion. But what do you think, dear listeners? Or has the young woman simply fallen in love with the rake and is trying to emulate it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And stay safe, stay subscribed, ring the bell so that you don't miss any upcoming videos, and feel free to share this video and any of my videos with anyone you please. If this is your first visit to my channel, please consider subscribing. My name is Warren, and I write and tell original ghost stories and original horror stories featuring such cryptids as the night floaters, werewolves, and the black-eyed children. So again, please consider subscribing. Please help me to reach my goal of 2,500 subs in 2022. Please. Till midnight. Cheers. Pictures used in today's video, courtesy of Pix here, that's PX here, while the music was The Dread by that patron of the internet, Kevin MacLeod. Thank you for listening.